Hi everyone, Maxine here with Tink and I Treasures. Welcome back to my studio. Today we're going to have some fun with watercolor. So if that's not your thing or you're not interested, then you are free, you are excused. But please come back again. Welcome to all my new subscribers. I am so excited to see you here, and I hope you enjoy the content that I put out and the tutorials and what have you. There's a variety. Most of the time it is, junk journal, making journals, that type of thing, and the related ephemera and what have you. But once in a while, I'll do something with watercolors or some kind of mixed media thing. Or once in a while, I'll do an unboxing of something I have ordered. And it's all paid for by me. Nothing I do is sponsored by anybody. I am not big enough for anyone to pay any attention to. So anything I get, anything I use, it's all things I have purchased. Okay, so we are going to do something really fun, and this is the perfect time of year. And what I did yesterday was go out and collect leaves. All different kinds of leaves. I tried to get ones with different shapes, interesting colors. Just a variety of leaves. So this is the perfect time. Get out there, go for a nice fall walk, and just pick up leaves along your way. A couple of those I kind of took from someone's yard. I didn't think they would mind, but most of them were just on the street. So, getting started with our little painting. This is Artiso. These are great little books, by the way. It's a watercolor pad. It has 30 sheets. I got it on Amazon, and it comes in a 3-pack. So, it's nice paper. It's not the best, of course. It's not 100% cotton rag or anything like that, but it's great to do little projects on. Do up a little something that you're going to put in a pocket of a journal. I think people would be really surprised and glad, to have a little painting, put in their, find a little painting in their journal or something. Anyway, so we are going to get started today with a wash. Now, you might not want to do this. You might want to leave the background white, which is fine. But I'm going to do a wash to get going here. So I am going to, this little palette that I have here is mostly Daniel Smith, in case anybody's interested. And I think I want to do blue. I don't want a hugely dark background. But I'm going to, I don't know, can you see what I'm doing here? I'm going to get out some of this paint, get this pigment going here. So I hope everyone is doing well, having a good week. What are you working on? What are your projects? What have you done lately? Let us all know. I think everyone is interested in what others are doing. Let me know if you've watched, other videos of mine, let me know which one you enjoyed the most and why. I would be curious to know that. I've been trying to keep my videos down in the time. I've been told that's not necessary because what I'm doing is interesting and they don't mind it being an hour. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence with that. I don't edit my videos. I don't really know how. Once in a while, I might pause when I'm recording and then start again if I need to dry something or something like that. I'll pause for just a little bit. My camera won't hold a pause for very long. Other than that, my videos are pretty much live. What you see is what you get. Good, bad, and ugly. So, if I make a mistake or if something goes wrong, you see it. And hopefully, you get ideas on how to correct a problem by watching what I do. So anyway, so yeah, I don't edit. I don't know how to make the video go faster in some places and stuff like that. So unfortunately, my videos kind of tend to be long because, yeah, I can't do any of that. So, let me know what you think. I'm gonna put some, usually in classic watercolor, there is no white and there is no black. And I'm a firm believer in that. White is the paper and black, well, black out of the tube is pretty dead, dull. If you mix darker colors, you can get a really dark color and something much better than black out of the tube. So what I use normally is a dark blue, usually cobalt, but I don't have that in this palette. So the phthalo blue, I would use that. I usually use a dark green, so I would use the sap and maybe alizarin crimson. So it's usually a dark blue, a dark green, and a dark red that I mix together. And you get a really pretty dark. It's not going to be black, but, Anyway, but I happen to have white. I'm not sure why. Maybe it came in a bundle. I'm not sure. But anyway, so I'm just going to use it. White is more opaque than a lot of the other colors. So that's a consideration too. It's not as transparent. So, and sometimes depending on the paint you have, it could be kind of chalky as well. So let's just go with that and see what happens. Oh, look at this. I already got stuff on there. So I am going to take a bigger brush here. And I'm going to get the paper wet. I kind of came in close so you can see better what I'm doing. So I apologize if I go out of frame once in a while, but I think you get the gist of what I'm doing here anyway. So I'm just wetting the paper, and I'm going to go into this blue and just do this. I like to make diagonal marks. It probably doesn't matter in the end, but if you do have any brush marks that are going to show, I think this is a better pattern, just because, well, we're doing falling leaves, and so this has that, downward type look to it, if that makes sense. So anyway, I usually have it lighter at the top and go darker towards the bottom. I don't know why. It's just a preference of mine. So, you know, you do whatever looks good to you. So this paper is buckling because it's not a block. A block pad is actually much better because it's held down on all four sides until you release it, and you know, this one is just on this one side, so if you get a lot of water, you're going to have this buckling stuff going on. Now you could tape it down. You could take it out of this book and tape it down. I use artist tape, which is like this. This one is thin. That's all I needed. Sometimes it will, when you're taking the tape off, sometimes it will take up some of the paper. It depends on the paper you're using. But for the most part, it's better than, you know, just regular tape. You wouldn't want to use that. Washi tape might be a really good alternative. Washi tape would be a really good alternative because it has very low stickiness, right? So it probably won't damage the paper when you take it up. But if you do tape down your paper, just tape a little, you know, a little bit, just so you could catch the page. Don't put your tape so it's covering, you know, a large portion of your paper, just in case when you take it off, if it's going to lift paper, you know. So you just want to tape a small amount of your paper down just to avoid damage, if that's going to happen. But yeah, washi tape would be a really good alternative because it usually doesn't stick very well at all, but it's worth giving it a shot. If you have washi tape that has a little, you know, that sticks a little bit better, you know, that might be a good one to try. Painter's tape might be another good alternative. It is meant to release and not take everything up with it when it's removed. But like I said, if you only tape down a very small part of your paper, you know, like 1/8 of an inch or so, if there is damage, it's going to be minimal, and that's probably going to be hidden by a mat or something like that anyway. So, all right, I think I could just do this all day long, but yeah. So there's that. Now, what I have here is a bottle with rubbing alcohol. And this is a fun little trick. So I'm going to hold it up above and spray. And it kind of has a reaction with the paint. It's probably too subtle for you to see it, but it does have a little bit of a reaction with the paint, giving the appearance of texture a little bit. It's not a huge thing. It's just very subtle, but I like using that sometimes. So anyway, we have to let this dry completely. Okay, we are dry. And so now you want to get out a pencil or a pen. I'm going to use a pen because it's going to, for one, it's going to help you see better what I'm doing. I have found that when I'm watching other videos and when someone's using a pencil, you really can't see it. So anyway, you want to pick your leaves and play around with them and find, you know, a good composition. So this one, the leaf is pointing this way, but then comes around, and this one brings the eye back in. See how that works? So you don't want everything pointing away. You want something that's going to bring someone's eye back into the picture, if that makes sense. So I like these two on here. And so this is now, if you're really good at drawing, you don't need actual leaves. But if you're not that keen on drawing, gathering leaves and keeping these. I gather them every few years, and I have a little box that I just keep them in, and then I use them all the time until, they get, at some point, some of them get real crumbly and, it becomes just dust in my box. So another thing you could do to, let me get one that I've done that to give more interest maybe to your painting is see how I've bent this one leaf back. So I have this type of thing going on. I will show you one that I have done recently. Here's one, and see this leaf is bending back, giving a little bit more interest to the painting. So you could do that with your leaves. Let's see. Maybe the ones you've just gotten today or, the ones you just get that are still maybe more flexible, you could do that with. This one is to the point where it's just going to break if I try and do that. So basically what I do, I hope I'm in frame, is I do kind of a little sketchy stem, and then I pretty much just trace around. Now you don't have to be exact, no one's gonna come along and say, oh well, that leaf is not the right shape for that species, or whatever it might be, you know what I mean? So yeah, just trace around loosely. Don't get stressed out over it too bad, okay? You just want to, I hope I'm in frame. Just want to trace around just casually. You don't have to get every nook and cranny. You don't have to be really precise. Maybe there's a specific area of the leaf you don't care for the shape. Well, change it up a little bit, Do some artistic editing. That's what I'd like to call it, artistic editing. So there's what you get. Something like that. Now, I hope you can see that. I'm sure you must be able to. Better than a pencil, anyway. Okay, and then we want to put in our stems. Again, you don't have to be too awfully precise. Just want to look on your example to see where the veins are coming from. Are they all coming from down here, or are they coming from, various places along? And again, you don't have to you don't want to go into a lot of detail. This isn't a photograph. This isn't a detailed drawing. You know, it is just representation of a leaf. So I'm not drawing every one that I see on the leaf, just getting a little bit going here. Okay, so there's that one, and now we want to bring in our little baby one. Now this one, the stem just broke off of it, so we're going to have to wing it. Now, another thing you can do with your leaves is having, you know, one behind another, one over another, things like that. You just want to work that out before you actually do your drawing, so you don't have lines where they shouldn't be, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna do my own little stem there. And again, just loosely trace. Doesn't need to be perfect. Like I said, you know, if there's a shape you don't like, or maybe part of the leaf is missing, you can, you know, you can draw that in, change it, whatever. You go around and you can make it, you know, you wiggle and make it look more sketchy. If you like that look, you know, make it more sketchy looking, right? So anyway, there we are. Now for the fun part. Okay, I have on my little palette over here, which I have you in really close so you can really see what I'm doing. So it's hard to get some things in, but I have a yellow. I have this is Daniel Smith colors, so you know other palettes would vary. But I have a yellow, an Indian yellow, which I really love that color. Let's see, no, this was the yellow, Indian yellow. What was this? Oh, geez, I don't even remember. Well, that's helpful, isn't it? Over here, I have a mixture of Quin Gold and Burnt Sienna. Here I have Alizarin Crimson, and I think something else. But anyway, you know the colors of autumn. So sometimes a little bit of blue is nice. Green. Green. I don't have any green. Okay, hang on. Let's see. I love sap green. Sap green is my favorite. So I want to get some of that up here. So I'm just getting into my palette here, or the pans. Sometimes I paint directly from these, and sometimes I, put the paint on this porcelain palette that I have. I usually don't mix colors off the paper, if that makes sense. I usually let colors mix on the paper. I just like the results better. Sometimes I'll mix colors in the palette, like if I'm mixing a blue and a pink or a red to try and get a purpley or a violet color, I'll do that. But most of the time, I just like to let the colors mix on the paper. So I am just using Undersea Green, which is another, I imagine that is strictly Daniel Smith color. I have not seen Undersea Green in any other brand. Daniel Smith has a lot of colors. Oh my goodness. It would cost a king's ransom to get all the colors that Daniel Smith has, and you don't need that many. You really don't. When I first started watercolor painting, I only had the 3 primary colors, blue, yellow, and red. And from there, I was able to mix and get an orange, to get a brown, to get a green. I mean, all you need is the 3 primary colors, really. And from there, you can make all the other colors there are. Okay, so let's get down to business here. Let's do the little one first, okay? So, yeah, I want to make sure you can see. Okay, I've got clean water on my brush, and I'm just going to take the brush on its side. It's too wet. And kind of run it around here like this. Not covering up everything. You want to try and leave, well, I don't have white space because of my background, but you want to leave places that don't have the color in it, if that makes sense. So here we go. I've got yellow on my brush, and I'm going to drop it in. Now, depending on the paint you're using, some paints really explode when they touch water, and they kind of move around, and you just sit and watch it, The paint will actually paint the picture for you, which is really fun to sit and watch. M. Graham paint will do that. They really explode when they hit water, and they're just, and it's so fun to watch. Other brands, don't do that as much. So I got some in there, and then I've got I guess it's the Indian yellow here, and just dropping that in, and see how it just kind of moves and goes into the other color. They kind of mix themselves. So what do we want now? Green, maybe? The green at the tip here. So yeah, yellows, oranges, greens, reds, blues, they all work for this. So yeah, you can have your leaves any color you want. Okay, we're going to let that settle. Got a lot of water right there. I don't like it when it pools up. So I'm just taking a dry brush and just kind of mopping up some of that pooled water that was sitting there. Okay. Onward. All right, so again, I'm taking some clean water and taking my brush and just kind of going over this just a little bit. It's kind of hard to see. It seems like it's easier to see when you don't have a background, when it's just the white. But, okay, so we're going in with yellow. Come on. I was hoping to get it to explode. Let's see. Maybe it's just not wet enough. So let's get a nice wet place there. Get some yellow and... Nope, it's not going to do it. So either Daniel Smith doesn't explode like that, or maybe it's the background that I have that's creating a problem. Now this background is going to come up and it's going to mix with my colors, and we're going to get green. So we have to be mindful of that. So I'm trying to have a lighter touch, hopefully not to disturb the paint underneath. Another thing you could do is when you're doing your background, you know, you could draw your leaf first and then do your background around the leaf. That is also another way of doing it. And then you don't have to worry about your colors mixing, because watercolor, you know, it's going to do that. It gets wet and then it lifts up. Let's see. So with that like that. You want to, if you use a like a orange, you want to have that color in a few different areas of your leaf. If that makes sense. So spread it around so it's in different areas. Don't just have, you know, this section orange and this section yellow and this section green. You know what I mean? You want to spread it around. You want the colors to mix and intermingle. I'm going to use this brown that I have, because that's always a fun color to use. There it goes. Well, that's moving and coming alive there, so that was nice. You know, and if you're unsure of patterns or what colors to use, well, just look at the, you know, go for your walk, collect your leaves and see what the colors are or what the patterns are. Of course, it doesn't have to be picture perfect either, you know. That's the benefit of being an artist, is that you can, you know, make leaves any color you want them to be. It doesn't have to be what you would find in nature necessarily. Yeah, see how I'm taking the red and, you know, putting it in several different places. And we could go with a little bit of blue, couldn't we? Let's see. This blue might be nice. So yeah, we could get a little bit of blue in there. Where am I? Right here. Ay, ay, ay. So, there. Oh, I like that. So, yeah, just get some blue. That's always nice to add. And I know, that's probably not a color you see. Although it depends on the tree, I suppose. Some trees might have a bluish, maybe not blue, but have kind of a bluish look to them. And if you have a brush that has this type of an end, you can use that to kind of come in here and score. Your veins. Or not. You don't have to do this. But yeah, you can kind of score your veins. Now, it might not look like anything right now, but as it dries, because this paint is wet, it's gonna settle into what I'm doing here. So this one's still pretty wet too. So, oh, I guess maybe you can't see what I'm doing. I'm just really close because I wanted you to be able to see as much detail as possible. Okay, so what do we think? Let's see. You could also use, you don't want anything that's going to have a sharp end. I wonder where my little, oh, there it is. How'd you get clear back there? So I have this little, oops, sorry. I have this little tool here that has just a rounded end on it. This one has gotten really sharp, so the rounded end is gone, so I probably shouldn't use that. But if you can see, this has like a rounded tip to it. So it's not going to, well, I suppose if you press really hard, but this is another way to make those score lines in there, if you want. They're drawn in as well, so, And then you want to just watch and make sure you're not having, hard edges forming. If your paper is wet, you're not going to have hard edges. But if you've painted where the paper is dry, you could have hard edges forming. So you just want to be mindful of that. I'm gonna see about dropping in some red if I can. I kind of waited maybe a little bit too long. That's still wet there, so yeah, I just want to get a little bit of red on this one. Just because there's red in the bigger one, and so yeah, that's good. That's good. So I want to darken that up a little bit more. And watercolor is going to dry lighter. Than what it looks like when it's wet. And so sometimes that's deceiving. You do it wet and you think, okay, yeah, I like that. And it's dry and it's like, oh, geez, where did it go? Because it dried so light, sometimes it just disappears. I'm just putting a little bit more green in there. That's starting to dry, and so Yeah, I like that. Let's see. Do some more orange up here. Maybe move some orange in with the red here. Maybe get some more of that blue. And come over here. Yeah, see, it's starting to dry, so I gotta be careful of hard edges. There. Okay. Let's see. If you wet your brush and with clean water and just go around the edge of where your paint is and get that wet, then you will be able to soften those edges so they don't dry with hard edges. Okay, so I'm going to get some burnt sienna and raw sienna maybe, and come in here and just get the stem, and maybe get some green. I'm going to get a smaller brush and come in here with some green. Let those mix together. Up here, do the same thing up here. And I guess I want to keep the smaller brush. And come over here and get some burnt sienna. And kind of drop that in here. Let it mix. Watercolor is amazing. I mean, it looks one way and you walk away and you come back after it's dried and it's totally done something else. Okay, so yeah, let me bring you up here so you're seeing more. Oh, well, the arm does not want to cooperate with me today. Oh boy. Sorry about that. Okay. Hang on. Okay, so there is our whole thing. There we go. So there is our picture, and I think that it turned out really well. Of course, it's going to change somewhat once it dries, but basically that's what you do to do a falling leaves painting. And depending on the size of your painting, you could tuck it into a pocket or attach it to a page of your journal. So, thanks for joining me today. I had fun with this little project. I hope you do too. Give it a go. You never know. Don't tell me you can't paint, because you can. Until next time, take care of you, love each other, and I'll see you again. Bye-bye.